But now I can do it. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nick Alexander here for the Culture Live representing. You know, we back this week with red cloth on the tables.
Yeah.
Special guest man, my boy from Chicago, very funny comedian, writer, Marc Henderson.
Marc Henderson.
What's poppin', Mark?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Happy to be here.
No doubt, no doubt. So today's episode is pretty much basketball. It's NBA playoff season. You know, I'm a basketball junkie, and I wanted to just keep it real easy about what we just gonna go through. So we just gonna get into the playoffs, and maybe at the end of the episode, if we got some time, we'll get into Game of Thrones predictions because we both watchers of the Thrones.
Yeah.
And it's the last season. So we want to see how it go down. I haven't watched The Throne like everybody else did. Like I came on really, really late, like in the fourth quarter as a binger. I started like end of January, and I powered through that motherfucker. And
I envy people that can do that, man.
and I finished, and while having a career and being productive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
not to mention losing is wasting hours and hours away at the couch binging, but then being
That's what I
productive
did.
afterwards. You know,
Right.
It's one to be just a couch potato and you ain't doing shit. That's real easy.
Right.
But I managed to get through it. But did you follow Thrones from the start, or when did you catch on?
I came in on season 3, so
Still pretty good.
yeah. After I first started watching it, I binged through the first 2 seasons, and then I think it was maybe like on season 3, episode 2, and I had to start watching weekly. That's why I said I admire people that could just binge right now because you ain't have to wait all these weeks in between.
Yeah.
You
But
gotta do
see,
it for the
I don't know
last
how I
season.
could have did it with y'all because those season finales, like some of the season finales, like when sometimes me and my girl we started the next season, so we didn't really sit on it and understand the impact of how when this shit happened, niggas had to wait a year.
Yes.
Like when Jon Snow,
torture.
when Jon Snow got killed.
Oh, whoa.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't watched the show, Jon
How
Snow
you gonna
got
say
killed.
spoiler alert afterwards?
I don't give a fuck.
Nah,
It's
dude.
season 8. You should have been watching.
No.
When he
As
got killed.
As a true Game of Thrones fan, you
Right.
can't ruin it for nobody else, no matter when they come into it, because you never know when somebody's going to come into it. Some people don't get to know. Some people don't get to find out about it until
When Snow got killed, niggas.
he.
We spent
Ah,
y'all spent the whole year mourning. You
Let's
know what
start-
I'm saying? A
start
whole year
up.
mourning. It was a whole year wondering.
Can't participate in this, man.
Right.
This is
When Ned Stark got his
against all-
head.
Stop, dude! Are you serious?
When he got head from his wife in when he in the chapel
Stupid.
when he got head from
All
his
right,
wife in the chapel.
Let's go to basketball, man.
When Sansa was fucking Hodor.
Hilarious.
That's why his nigga say Hodor because she put it on him and he was like
Ah,
Hodor,
Probably we got
hold the
sisters
door.
back.
All right. Okay, so let's actually, so since we in the Thrones, let's just do the predictions now. Let's get it out the way. All right, what do you
I got a whole poll.
want to do
on my
predictions
page.
or do you want to do like what would feel comfortable for you since you're advocate of not trying to ruin the experience? But if most people are talking, if we're gonna talk about season 8, I would assume most people have watched the 7 seasons. This isn't for you if you haven't watched Game of Thrones. So I would suggest
Yeah,
you
so that's
just
a spoil.
fast forward if you haven't watched Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 7. And now we're gonna talk our shit about predictions. Go. What you got, Mark? How you feeling? What's gonna play out for you?
As far as predictions of who's going to end up on the throne, or
Okay, we can do that. So who you think is gonna have the throne by the last episode?
I think Jon Snow's going to be on the throne.
Will he have his queen with him?
I think it probably will be Khaleesi.
Okay.
Yeah, because they always used to go in the earlier seasons just talking about how Targaryens used to marry brother and sister, even though this is this is nephew and auntie.
Right. But still nasty in Targaryen style. You know,
In this world.
it's like second generation nasty.
Yeah, in that world,
In that
I think
world,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to keep that blood pure.
Right,
apparently.
exactly. That bloodline. But a prediction that a lot of cats don't think about.
Okay.
I think
Is this
Tyrion.
the one you sharing from your Facebook status? You want to share it?
No, I ain't gonna put that. I never put that stuff on my Facebook. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But since we already said spoiler alert and people can tune out,
Yeah.
I think Tyrion is also a Targaryen. I don't think he's a Lannister.
Was it you who I read with that rumor where they said his parents could have, when his dad cheated, it could have been, or his mom got raped by the Targaryen,
Mad King.
by the Mad King,
Yeah.
and then he was the product of the rape?
Yes.
Or is
exactly.
it Jaime and Cersei that are Targaryens, and Tyrion is the only actually pure blood Lannister?
I've
'cause they're the
never
ones with the
heard
blonde
that
hair.
theory. I've never heard that theory, but that would be amazing if they were Targaryen. Oh my!
And they're less
Dude,
of a
that would be
Lannister
so
than
deep.
anybody.
That
right?
would be so deep.
Wouldn't that cut fucking hard as hell?
Whoa!
I just flipped your whole shit, didn't I?
You did, dude. That I've never even heard that theory. That is an
Yeah.
amazing thought.
I was in a theory video watch for like a good week after I finished the show, so I watched a whole bunch of shit, and I was like, what about
If
those
they were
two?
Targaryens,
Yeah.
whoa,
Wouldn't it make sense, right?
it would because of the Mad King and how mad they are.
And they love the incest. They had babies.
Dang, that's deep.
It's cold. Yeah, man.
Dude, you just blew my mind with that. That has never crossed my mind. I've never seen that on the theory board.
Right.
Oh, that's amazing. You got me stumped with that one.
And her and so that would make what Daenerys. She might be an auntie for them niggas too.
Yeah, they'll be related.
Right,
Oh my God, they'll be related. Goodness.
I'm killing them with my hot takes.
You killing me with this.
Yeah, man.
I love good theories, and that's amazing.
Anything on the evil side, like about the Night King? Anybody have anything about like what the Night King is? What his?
I forgot who my old theory was about. Who it used to be, but people are saying it's Bran.
Bran might actually be the Night King and not the three-eyed raven.
Because he can. Well, same thing. Because he became the three-eyed raven, he could actually go back in time, and they were saying like that time when the dude tried to touch him.
Mm-hmm. In the dream
that
thing.
can like. He can manifest and like possess somebody to become like he did Hodor. He could possess people, so he might possess a person and end up becoming a Mad King somehow because he can go back in time. It was a weird theory.
So you think he might possess the Night King and then just stay neutral of them and just kind of like make sure the Night King doesn't do any more harm? Like how do you?
No, I mean I believe he's gonna turn into the Night King and just become evil.
Oh, you feel like he's gonna change all the way? Like he's not gonna be the prophecy that helps?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'll be hard because it'll be interesting because I believe for some reason in my head Arya is gonna kill the Night King with her dagger, and I think it'll be harder because it's her brother.
Okay, that's pretty. I didn't think about that. That's pretty dope.
So yeah,
right.
you
counted back. You counted back.
Nah, man, ain't touching yours. Yours comes true. Oh my, you gotta have another season. That's too deep to just end it right there.
Yeah. What else I think is gonna happen? I feel like the Hound and the Giant gonna really have a go at it, and he's gonna get his revenge. I'm rooting for the Hound. He's gonna whoop that zombie nigga.
He is a zombie.
The nigga with eyes with response and he can't talk. But he's present. He's not dead.
Nah, he's still a killer.
He's still a killer. He crushed skulls, man. That was some weird shit. I never seen a nigga get his skull crushed like that.
Yeah, he don't play.
Shout outs to Oberyn. What else? Yeah, I feel like Arya's gonna
had that fight.
He had it. I was so mad, dog.
But in his defense, he needed them to confess so he can kill the rest of the Lannisters.
But you still supposed to be focused when you try to get a confession. You got too emotional. His emotions got him distracted, and that nigga was able to go for the sweep and then use the last bit of strength to just fucking pluck the nigga's eyes out. After he punched his skull. His teeth. Oh my God, that was brutal.
I did not see that coming. That's what I love about Game of Thrones, man. You could not see it coming. I just knew that Oberyn was gonna win that fight.
We felt it. We all thought he was gonna win. I was like, kicking his ass.
Like, oh, they getting predictable, man. They gonna save Tyrion.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, nah. I was glad. I really love the twist. What's more vile to you, the Red Wedding or the High Septon explosion? What is a more vile?
Cersei came with it, man.
Cersei, she topped her daddy. She topped her daddy. Cause she basically did a terrorist. That was a terrorist strike. That was a massacre.
She is her.
Red Wedding is somewhat of a massacre too, but
it's a massacre. But what people don't really realize is she follows in her daddy's footsteps. This is the reigns of Castamere because
she plans well.
They wipe out whole families, but she wiped out more than the whole family. So I got to give it to her. When you really think about how many people she wiped out. She wiped out the Septons. She wiped out the Tyrells,
pretty much.
Just all of her enemies. Everybody that watched her being paraded through the streets.
Like a whore. Like some common whore.
Everybody. So I got to give it to her.
Yeah, Cersei, she's a bad bitch. I fucks with Cersei.
My favorite character.
Who's your favorite character?
Littlefinger, man.
Yeah, Lord Baelish, Sansa.
People be dissing Littlefinger.
He got too thirsty at the end though. He taught her too much and got too eager with trying to please her, and she was catching on to the thirst and used that against him.
He got caught slipping. I think it was because of Arya. Because he had no idea she was still alive. Yeah, and they kind of set him up.
They kind of set him up. Yeah.
But when you think about it, man, this dude is responsible for everything.
He started the war.
He is the complete mastermind. They still had no idea it was him. And as smart as the Lannisters are, the Starks were, Tywin, as smart as he was, nobody had any idea.
Yeah, nobody could see it.
That Littlefinger was behind
all
of
even
this.
Varys didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Varys always knew he was up to something, but Varys was like...
Even little birds couldn't find out what was going on with Littlefinger.
Yeah, them little birds wasn't chirping right.
Right.
Any other thing? Is the man with no faces, does he come back and help Arya anyway? I feel like he has a purpose. He
definitely has to make a comeback.
Yeah,
but
the no
it was a theory that Serial Pharrell was...
Why do you believe that, Mark? Because I saw you get into it with another fellow comedian from Chicago.
I just said I believe he's coming back this season.
But you were like, it'll be so great because it's been a minute since he came back, and me and Mark was like, nigga, he was only around season 1.
But he was one of the most beloved characters in season 1.
You watched the show, Paul? Okay.
In season 1, people
Mark, that was
love.
a long ass time ago, Mark. That
They
was 9
loved
years
her
ago,
trainer.
nigga.
I know, but even in season 2 and season 3, people will still, if you look at the boards,
Okay,
like, is he
I
coming back
wasn't
this
on the
season? Is he
boards.
coming back this
Okay,
season?
because we don't know if he died, right?
Yeah.
They never showed him. They
So
just
people
showed
was
him
always
fighting.
wondering, will he come back? So I'm
Right.
just like, just to make fans happy, they might make him appear again. He might die
Right,
on
right.
that episode, but I seriously doubt.
I feel like the no-face man might come back. I fucks with him. He was really
Oh, yeah, he
mischievous.
got to be. But this is my thing about Game of Thrones, which people, to me, don't pick up on. I don't think it's really a war for the actual throne. I think Game of Thrones is really about the war of the gods. So which
Having
god
them-
is the greatest?
Which god? Meaning like what kind of god who roots for the evil, like the White
No,
Walkers?
every house has their own.
has their own
The
god.
old and the new gods. The seven, that's a different god.
Okay.
The fire. What do they call their god?
Fire and ice.
No, I mean the Red Witch, whoever her god is.
Yeah.
That's a god. The Night King is basically a god.
Lord of Light.
Yeah, the Lord of Light.
Okay.
So it's all these different gods people are worshiping. So which one is the most powerful? The No-Face god, which Arya just came from.
Right.
So like, which
And
one
then
of
there's
these gods
Westeros,
is the
and
most
then there's-
powerful?
Yeah. Okay.
Ends up on
the
the throne of the world.
What do you think happens to the zombie dragon? Does the zombie dragon beat his other two brothers, or do the two brothers take him down, or do they all just take each other out? In a fire versus ice breath off.
What I'm thinking right now, in my mind is another dragon going to be killed, but definitely one dragon survives. But if I had to just bet, I would just say those two dragons are going to live and they're going to kill the ice dragon.
Okay. All right. So ice dragon goes down, which was fucking amazing. But I was like, as soon as that nigga got killed and went into the water, I'm like, yo, if they revive this nigga.
I predicted that before it happened. I was actually
Once he came through, and you saw the Night King looking, he was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I wonder if I can bring this nigga back.
but the Night King, he was fearless. Like he did not fear
Yeah.
that dragon at all. He took
Yeah.
that spear in.
That hard spear. that aim was proper.
Right. He ain't hesitate, man.
Not at all. Okay. All right. So I think we got a good amount at the table. You think Theon Greyjoy redeems himself finally?
Nah, he dies.
He dies trying.
He gotta die.
You get Richard that trying. He dies trying.
He gotta die. Everything he did, he can't be redeemed.
But you think the sister just was like, all right, nigga, thanks for doing this, but now I'm gonna run shit. Like you think she gets to get saved and then
Yara needs to be on the throne. I mean,
yeah,
she
the right-
deserves it. She's like the coldest Ironborn. Everybody loves her.
Right,
she went
right.
back to even save her brother after everything he
Yeah.
did.
All right, who do you think? Who else do you think is gonna die?
I think Tyrion's gonna die.
Tyrion? You think Tyrion gets
I
killed?
think Tyrion is gonna die, and I kind of believe I believe he's a Targaryen. One of the dragons died. Like these three Targaryens need to be matched up with dragons, which I believe is Khaleesi, Jon Snow, and Tyrion. So since one dragon is gone, I think that's like a foreshadow of Tyrion's death.
Okay.
A lot of people gonna die this season. I think Cersei's gonna die.
Cersei gonna die giving birth to a midget. That's my prediction.
Hilarious.
Dwarf. I apologize.
I know.
My bad. Dwarf.
But I actually think Jaime might end up doing it.
You think
Kill
Jaime's
her.
gonna kill her, kill the woman he loves and lay with her as
Yeah,
he
because
dies?
it's actually a part of prediction. Like her younger brother is supposed to kill her, and everybody thinking it's Tyrion. But
Is that what the witch told her in the prediction scene?
Yeah.
What'd she say? She said,
she's gonna end up dying by a younger brother.
really?
So I believe that's why she believes it's Tyrion. But
I
if
gotta
he's
watch-
a Targaryen, the younger brother is Jaime.
Right, I gotta watch that scene.
Yeah.
Okay. If
Well,
it's-
somebody actually posted it, which maybe I'm
Alright.
taking credit for it. But yeah. Like,
All right, Mark.
okay.
You can steal on a podcast, nigga. Ain't anybody coming
Still
after you
makes sense,
in
though.
the
Makes a lot of
podcast circuit.
sense. Yeah.
Okay, I think I got through everything. I feel like Jorah Mormont might die in a sacrifice. I think he's gonna, get taken out. I feel like
Jorah been through a lot.
he's been through a lot.
Yeah, people saying
Him and Davos might live.
people saying they think Jon Snow might die. I'm like, they want to bring
Nah,
him
you
back.
can't
if-
kill Snow. I think
Not
maybe
twice.
Bronn. I think maybe Bronn dies. Bronn is like we love Bronn, but he might
Bronn.
die.
Yeah, I think I put in my
You
prediction.
need to have
he's
some
gonna
people you
die.
care about go. I would love to see Tormund survive.
That's why they think they're gonna take Tyrion out, just to like.
You got to give one blow. You got to get
Yeah.
one of the core people. You got to take one of. Maybe Sansa dies,
Yeah, I think.
And then
she's
Arya
gonna-
becomes
she
a
ain't gonna
queen?
make it. Yeah,
and then Arya becomes a queen. But
she don't want to be a queen.
But she'll be a queen warrior.
She'll probably be Kingsguard.
But she want to be a warrior, so she's gonna.
Kingsguard.
Oh, should it be Jon's Kingsguard?
Yeah,
And then you think Bran dies too?
yeah, Night King.
Night-
I believe it's Night King.
You
so
believe
he
it's
gotta die.
okay? So you think Bran tries to have one last attempt to fight the Night King, but then ends up becoming him?
I have no idea how he becomes a Night King.
But you just feel that he's gonna die. Okay.
I just felt the theory when they were saying it, like, okay, that makes sense. And the way he got touched by the Night King, and the way like the Night King stared at Jon Snow when he first saw him, it's like something made you stare at him like that, like it's a familiarity. So
got you.
I'm like, okay, I think this might be true.
All right. Well, all right. So that wraps up the Game of Thrones predictions. I mean, I just wanted to do it for the culture.
Yeah.
So tune in. I'll be tuning in tomorrow night.
This is a dope month, man. You got the Game of Thrones,
NBA playoffs,
and Endgame about to come out in a couple of weeks.
Oh yes, Avengers.
So April was amazing.
All right, we'll leave Avengers alone though.
Yeah,
Let's get to
basketball.
the NBA playoffs. So Mark, first you want to tell the folks here who are you a fan of? Who's your favorite team? Who you root for? Die hard.
This is
relentlessly
bittersweet for me. My team has been the Spurs for the last couple of decades.
So you weren't always a Spurs fan.
I used to be a Bulls fan. I'm from Chicago.
And
The
then
reason I stopped being
what
a Bulls
happened?
fan is they broke up our championship teams for absolutely no reason.
The owner, right?
Yeah, and it showed me, like, you don't care about... You get rid of Jordan and Phil Jackson and Pippen. You don't care about the fans. How about you want to rebuild?
It's like, why?
We could have won
Another one. Or go at least get back
one
to the
or
finals.
two, or at least let somebody knock us off, man. We would never know how many championships we could have won because you said
He just didn't
want
to pay that money because he had the ego?
I don't know what was his problem. Like, it still annoys me to this day. Like, what?
Because Michael was willing to come back, right? They were like, "Oh, you gotta do," but
Yes.
they didn't want to. They felt like Phil was asking for too much. Because you was grown, right, in Chicago, so you remember what was going on with that
I
team.
was just turning 18.
So you knew like this shit is like y'all a dynasty. MJ just killed it again. He could
we
leave.
just three-peated.
Just three-peated again.
And Jordan said he wanted to come back.
He said he wanted to come back.
And he was fighting for Phil Jackson. He was like, I'm going to leave if you fire Phil. Like, he wanted to keep his team together.
Right.
Like, don't get rid of our players, man. We still dope. We just
Has the owner ever
three-peated.
come out and says that he regretted not doing it? Has he humbled himself
I
to
wouldn't even
admit
know.
to
I
admit he
can't
was
even answer
wrong
that
and stupid for losing money? Because essentially, the next year they don't have the attendance probably fell. They couldn't charge the same ticket prices.
We have not been good since.
Nah, Derrick Rose, they were actually good. But Ben Gordon brought y'all back to the playoffs. And then y'all had a good 3-4 years, and Derrick Rose came in and took y'all even to a higher level before
Rose
he
years
went
was
down.
dope.
Before like 2000, but then y'all still stayed in the playoffs another 3-4 years because Thibodeau was coaching a good squad with Butler and
Finals, man.
Y'all made the finals.
Championships.
But Rose got you to the conference finals. I mean, they just didn't have enough to beat Miami, but still, conference finals is still. Look, conference finals is the equivalent to the Final Four. For me, if you get to a Final Four at least once in your career, conference finals, that means you're pretty much one series away from the NBA Finals. Sometimes as much as one game away. Sometimes as much as one possession away from the NBA Finals. That's pretty good. You shouldn't be a wash just because you don't win a championship.
That's more like that. LeBron James been to 8 conference finals, so he's this great player. The conference was weak in most of those years.
I can't say that.
I
Boston
would
was
say
a
that.
good threat. The first early years of the Big
That's
Three.
when he first started doing the Big Three stuff.
Right.
You got 3 all-star players on your team. No other team has 3 all-star.
Right.
I'm not even going to say all-star. You got 3 franchise players.
Hall of
Dwayne
Famers,
Wade
right.
was a franchise player. LeBron James was a
And
franchise player. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
not
then
just
Bosh was a
all-stars.
franchise
They were
player
Hall
from
of
his team.
Famers.
Yeah, so
Right.
you put all of them on one team against other teams who are good teams, but they don't have 3.
Yeah, I say when LeBron went back to Cleveland, they didn't have the East was then weak because it was like the Hawks were a really good team, regular season 60 wins, but they just didn't have the personnel to do anything with LeBron. And Toronto just they just didn't. They were good, but not a great team. The only great team I think they faced was I can't even say that Boston was a great team, even though Boston pushed them to 7 last year.
They were older, yeah.
But Boston was a good, just young team. But
Oh, you talking about?
yeah, the last one was Cleveland.
Okay.
Like the second Cleveland era, they didn't. That's when I felt like the East was weak. But I think the first one, the early Heat run, the East was still pretty good. But I don't know. I feel like
Any of them other teams you think would have had a chance in the finals against?
who was that? Mavericks.
Mavericks.
The Thunder. Bulls and
Spurs.
Thunder. Bulls Thunder would have been really good. Bulls Thunder would have been a good finals.
All you had was one All-Star.
Boston and Dallas would have been a good
just
finals.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Noah. Hey man. Look, and let me tell you something. As a
Chicago.
Knicks fan, let me tell you something. As a Knicks fan, that nigga fucked my shit up because that contract that Phil signed him to, and he ain't do shit. But Noah in Chicago, before he started getting hurt,
He was a decent defender, man. but
he won Defensive Player of the Year.
he was
First
a great
team all
defender,
defense.
but other than that,
Good passer, moved the ball.
it's like Robin being your number 2.
You had Jimmy Butler. Butler was coming up.
He was just starting.
When
into
Rose
his
started getting hurt,
offensive player.
Butler was coming up.
Yeah, still no match for Miami,
But-
and they would have been no match for Dallas or the Spurs.
Well, Dallas had one superstar and a bunch of really good role players and former All-Stars. I felt it would have been a good competitive series. Sometimes matchups is
give
everything.
you that.
Sometimes teams
I'll give
ain't a
you that.
match. Like,
No, that's
for
true.
some reason, LeBron is considered the GOAT or second best ever, but he couldn't adjust to his own defense.
I'm gonna try to enforce my point. You have a better point than I do on that one.
All right,
So
all
go
right.
ahead.
We haven't made a prediction yet, but we still. What was the subject we on? Just about the Bulls. So you said you were Bulls, and so you said that the sourness and the saltiness you felt from the owner not spending the money to keep that team together made you go elsewhere for another
You just
team.
don't break up a championship team like that. We just three-peated. That's
Right.
6 championships in the last 8 years, and it's Jordan. Everything Jordan did, and
Right.
you just let him go because you say you want to rebuild. You care nothing about the fans. It's all about whatever your bottom line is, your pockets was. And I
Right.
think that was the first year Jordan took a real contract.
Yeah, the last 3 years he played off, he kept doing $30 million 1-year deals because he wasn't making no money before. And the money
Yeah,
was gonna
so
trade, so
you
he's-
just start paying him, you can't keep him. Like,
yeah,
to me,
you
that's
cheap.
no loyalty to the fan base. And I'm just like,
You cheap. So you
I was
said
done
you let it
then,
go.
man. Yeah.
You'll always root for like a player here or two. Like, were you kind of like following Rose, even though you said I'm a Spurs fan at this point?
oh yeah, Rose was dope.
Yeah.
And I was cheering for him, and I was watching the series, hoping the Bulls would win. Like, even though I was a Spurs fan at that time, I still, will root for my hometown.
Yeah. You think Pop is a greater coach than Phil Jackson? I'm
I
ready.
do
I'm ready to
believe,
say yeah.
yes.
You want to know why?
But that's a good comparison. We have to compare any two coaches.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though both came into the situation with superstars, I felt like Pop has managed and transitioned well. Like, if Phil didn't have the all the cards on the deck,
Right.
you've never seen really Phil manage a team. Like, he didn't have to work on early Jordan. He came into a Jordan in his prime and Pippen ready to take it to the next level. Then he got Shaq in his prime and Kobe ready to take it to his next level.
Automatic.
And then Kobe in his prime and Gasol in his prime and a good Laker team, balanced Laker team. But he never worked with teams when they had bad situations or maybe like a guy who was old or like he never dealt with that. I think Pop
Right.
managed Duncan his whole career. You start out with an older David Robinson and working in with the veterans like Avery and Elliott. Then you shift to the Bruce Bowens and Steven Jackson and Steve Kerr on the second run, and then you go into Manu and Tony Parker and
with late round picks.
you know.
Like, whoever you give him, he
Kawhi.
he makes people out of
Right.
he makes stars out of regular cats.
he's
man.
turned stars, and non-lottery picks. He hasn't had a lottery pick since Duncan.
Wow, that's amazing. Just even
Everything
think about
first
that.
rounder.
Just
I think
even
Kawhi
think
was the
about
highest.
that,
Yeah, I'm a basketball junkie.
Right.
So I feel like to me, for a guy to work and tweak styles and transition, because they used to be for the longest time just an all defense team, and then in the 2000s they started opening the game more and scoring more, and then they LaMarcus and with Kawhi, and they were scoring more points, and they were a more offensive minded team. And then you lose Kawhi for pretty much the whole year because he don't really want to play, and then he still finds a way to get close. He almost had 50 wins again. I was ready to rule Pop out last year. I'm like, there's no way he's winning. And y'all win 48 fucking games with one All-Star and a bunch of solid role players. And in this year, you got DeMar, and I think DeMar is good, but he's just not on Kawhi's level. He's not next level. He's not a superstar. He's an all-star.
He's a great
Great scorer, and he can playmaker too, because he does pass, move the ball really well, and sets up other teammates. So he does have good offensive
assists he's
value.
ever had in his career. Too.
Yeah, and he's only 29, so he can give you that probably 20 and 6 for like another good 3 years.
I'm interested to see how far we can go because we are on the good side of the bracket. Like, this is
all right,
the
so let's
perfect bracket you could even thought about.
Let's start in our first series, right? Denver, San Antonio. I actually believe Pop will outcoach Denver because I just don't trust their playoff experience, and I think Pop can use that to his advantage.
Right.
And we all know playoffs are 2 different seasons from the regular season. I think they don't have anybody injured. I don't believe. I think they pretty much the squad is ready to go. Outside of who they lost for the whole season, DeJounte Murray, which would have been a really big help. They probably have 50 wins if DeJounte's playing.
I know we lost our point guard.
He's a point guard.
Like, really,
but
we lost a lot in this last year, man. When you really think about it, we
Y'all
lost
had a lot of
Kawhi, we lost
injuries.
Ginobili, we lost Deontay and Parker within the last year.
Yeah, Kawhi. So pretty much a whole new team.
Yeah.
And I was like, when they were struggling in the beginning, I'm like, he's got 7 new guys. They just need time to gel. It's gonna take time, and then Pop will get good. Once Pop showed me last year he could win without Kawhi, and he can get through with LaMarcus as his main guy, I'm like, I'll never doubt Pop again. As long as he has a couple capable guys, he'll always make it work. And he had 2 All-Stars, so I'm like, he got 2 All-Stars, and he can.
I'm still hurt about this Kawhi thing, man.
I know.
It cost us some championships. Started with Jaja. I hate Jaja from Golden State, man. Whatever his last
an
name
ankle
was.
when he was beating him that game 1?
We was whooping
Whooping
Golden
his ass.
State. You know how much smack I was talking all year? Like, because everybody was just on this Golden State bandwagon.
like,
They're
Kawhi
the
gonna
greatest
eat 'em
team
alive.
ever. And I'm just like, wait till they meet the Spurs. We always got their number. Wait till the playoffs. And everybody was silent that first half. I'm online talking man trash. Like, I told y'all they cannot beat my Spurs.
And fucking
And here
Zaza.
comes Jaja.
Yeah, Zaza, you a punk bitch.
You
for that.
can't tell me he didn't do that on purpose, man.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. Is like I just saw the clip maybe from a couple of maybe it happened last week, but Westbrook finally got some revenge on him.
Zaza?
Yeah, it was so hilarious.
You felt
man.
vindicated? A little
I
bit.
know the dude is dirty, so
Yeah, he's
it's
just
like
a
he
dirty
tried to
player.
take Westbrook out a couple of times.
Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, it's like Zaza and Pat Beverly. Beverly's a defensive. He's a fucking intense nigga. But yeah. So I honestly believe, Denver is a fun, good team. They're young. They have Millsap is like their only veteran leader, and even though he's on the downside, he's still a productive dude. But I just feel like I don't know who they have is the go-to guy. When it gets late, and even though Jokic is super talented, like I never seen a center who can pass and play like the way he does.
Right,
and
right.
He had a great year, and Jamal Murray's, he gets buckets. And they got a lot of guys who can score, but
They got home court advantage, man.
but San Antonio, it's
But-
Pop. It's Pop.
I'm
playoffs.
never doubting Pop.
And they're not old. San Antonio's not old. I think the oldest guy is LaMarcus, maybe, and he's like 32, 33, which is
I
still
worry
pretty
about
good.
LaMarcus though,
in the
man.
playoffs?
He has not had heart in these playoffs. I was super happy
Okay.
when we first got him, but I just watched that dude disappear when we lost to OKC that year. He had a good first game.
Right, and then he just kind of.
Good
But I
couple
feel
of first
like
two games,
they're
but then-
better now, though. Like maybe wasn't that his first year?
But the following year when Kawhi got hurt,
He didn't.
we was whooping them, and then it's like
They just let up.
when Kawhi disappeared, it's
Yeah.
like his heart just got snatched. Like he was
Yeah, he
just
does
coming
have
up
a heart
short in the
issue.
rest of the series.
And DeMar doesn't show up against LeBron, but he has been somewhat clutch. So I feel like he's a guy for sure can get you a good shot because you can give it to him to ISO and do something.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how these playoffs play out. 'Cause
I don't want to doubt Pop, man. I got San
No,
Antonio
I'm-
beating Denver.
no, I definitely
Maybe it'll probably go 7. It could go 7.
I want that to happen.
But I honestly can see San Antonio just out-coaching them. Like, I feel like he'll just use the rotations right. Like, they just have some guys on the bench that could work. They have the guards to keep up with them because you got Derek White.
Yeah, Derek White's another person popped and just turned.
Who's the other guy? They got Brandon Forbes, who can shoot. You got Patty Mills, who can get hot.
off the bench? Yeah,
Carry you game. Rudy Gay, he can still get buckets.
yeah, I like
The
Gay.
Jacob Podol dude who came in the Toronto trade, he can, he could play. He could play a little bit,
got
hold
a
the big man
chance.
down. You have a chance. I don't trust that. Denver's not proven yet. So until you prove it to me,
Right.
and you prove it, and you beat San Antonio, you beat Pop.
Dude, we actually got a chance to make it to the final.
There is a pathway there. So
Right.
let's go into, I think probably
The Western Conference Finals, I mean.
Yeah, well, let's go into what probably is going to be the best series. Oklahoma City and Portland. Russ against Dame. Cantor against Steven Adams.
Okay, so you got this only because of the injuries. To,
Really? You think Portland just can't overcome after the Nurkic injury?
Yeah, and plus,
Well, how many games do you see it going?
6.
So it's
I
6?
might go 6.
Okay. I'm going to root for Portland. I'm going to take – I feel
Really?
like I don't trust Russell Westbrook, man. As talented as that dude is, he is just the most immature,
He got something to prove this player.
fucking impulse control nigga I've ever seen play basketball. Like, how you a 10-year veteran and the way Utah ball, like Donovan Mitchell showed him out last year, and then he's talking shit about trying to lock up Rubio. Like, nigga, you don't need to be guarding fucking Ricky Rubio. Guard the nigga that's your
Hilarious.
size, getting 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Rookie,
a
who
good point, man.
the damn rookie of the year? Like, you ain't show up against Donovan. You let a rookie outplay you. Like, I saw Donovan making like veteran, great basketball player decisions.
But
on the
last
floor.
year,
And
that
Russell
was
just
still
got
with the Carmelo issues and
all right. I have mixed feelings about that because I am a Carmelo fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not have an unbiased thing to Carmelo because there was flaws in Melo's game, and I felt like if Melo could have made choices and played different ways, he would still have a career. But he's just probably like the Iverson of this era, where they just kind of like it's just the game changing and phasing.
I mean, I look at it a little bit differently. I think if they
last
would have
year-
went more to Melo's strengths
right.
and included him in it, like stop
Yeah.
trying to make him play a different style and use kind of like what Popovich did with LaMarcus the first year.
Right.
He wasn't using him to his strengths. He's just trying to force him into his system instead of going to what makes LaMarcus good.
You got to give him half and half. Like you
Yeah.
can't. I mean, look, unless you're like an undeniably great player where you can just play anything and be flexible,
Mm-hmm.
when the guys are just good at something and they pretty much their bread and butter is that, 9 times out of 10, you really can't get them to do anything else. So
Right,
if
right.
you don't play them to their strengths, then
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, honestly, that was probably the thing where I felt like they should have just put the onus on nigga. We don't care what we paying you, you still come off the bench.
Okay.
I felt like they
that's
should have
cool.
pressed Melo on that issue before training camp started because that's when Melo laughed that shit off, and then they were kind of like, well, he's already kind of made his stance about not coming off the bench, even though niggas have already been lurking that he should do that.
Right.
I feel like they should, if they would have had that talk, like, look, man, we'll spend this money, And if you ain't, but you got to come off the bench. Like they should have played hardball with him, and he would have had to really make a decision of whether he's willing to come off the bench or not.
He should have went to Portland, man.
I agree too. I felt like Portland.
should've went
They've
to
been
Portland.
waiting for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll learn and go
They
next
was
year.
recruiting him.
They was trying.
I don't know if they want him anymore, but
Yeah, that's true because he
he
was
should have went there instead
there.
of OKC, man.
He-
But,
yeah.
hey,
They couldn't get the trade
hindsight.
through. So.
I don't think he wanted to go.
I don't trust Russ. I feel like Russ he's in his prime. He's 30 years old, and he's still making the same 20-year-old nigga mistakes.
He got something to prove, and I think he
And
sees
his shooting been horrible this year. Like he had some injuries. I give him that. Like a knee thing is always going to affect your jumper in some sort of way. But he's shooting really bad from outside. And I think that Portland has enough offensive firepower, where they can keep the scoring up. Like the bench unit is better than the Thunder's second unit.
But whatchamacallit's not 100%.
CJ's not back, but he can get his
Yeah,
rhythm.
CJ.
If he's 25 to 30 minutes a night, and he's just, he's making them respect and just help Damian. He's giving Damian more help in the starting five. It's okay that he's not 100%. I feel like they can still win it.
Nah, they need their big three.
You need to be. All right.
The Portland big three. The dude that went down is going to.
But what that bench though? That bench, they got Seth Curry can shoot, Rodney Hood. He can have a game or two. Layman, they got
great team, but they needed their other key player. I keep forgetting his name. Yeah, Nurkic.
I think Zach Collins can maybe break out. He's a good rim running big, and he blocks shots. Like maybe this is the time where he steps up and plays like some more intense minutes because he can play defense.
They got swept last year with Nurkic, so without him,
he couldn't play against Anthony Davis. But Steven Adams is a way more stationary big. Like he don't move like Davis do. He don't do the same thing Davis. He's just strong and can bang and finish. So
true.
It's a different kind of thing you're having to guard. Even though the Thunder play intense perimeter defense, but I mean,
So you got Portland and
I got Portland. I think it could probably go 7.
Okay,
so I'll say Portland 7.
Nah.
I just feel like Dame is just smarter in the fourth quarter than Russ is, and I think that would be his advantage. I just don't trust
Paul
Russ.
George, yeah, nah.
I
got him
Russ.
at 6.
You got playoff P?
What?
You playoff? That's what he called himself, playoff P. He
Hilarious.
had one good game against Utah, and then he didn't do shit else the rest of that series.
I never heard that nickname.
He called himself that playoff P after
I
game
missed
1.
that.
And then Melo was like, "Oh, that's what he called himself." And they started laughing at the press conference. And then he had one good game the rest of the series.
Hilarious.
Let's move to a series that's very near and dear to Paul, our fellow comic, and also helping us with. He runs the fort at CPU Studios. So we got the Clippers, the LA Clippers versus the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Paul, gonna chime in? What's up, Paul? How you feeling, baby?
I mean, I'm just happy we're here in the playoffs.
I gotta say,
Right?
I've never liked Doc Rivers as a coach. Like I just never saw why everybody was so amazed with him. But I gotta give him his props, man.
This year,
to lead a team to goddamn near 50 wins in the Western Conference with no All-Star and a big trade that shuffled and reshuffled your roster.
Right. And they
The man did his thing.
playoffs.
The man did his thing.
Well, his big thing was, if you look at him, he really didn't play young players, except for like Rondo.
That's always been his thing. Except, the only one he took the chance on was kind of like Rondo. Yeah.
Rondo, and I think he sees a lot of that like in SGA, like in terms of trusting him. So you got a starting 5 that at points during the season had 3 rookies in the starting 5.
Yeah, it was Shamet came on later.
Shamet came on later,
It
but
was SGA. Who else?
And Robinson, Jerome Robinson.
He never played Jerome though. He don't trust Jerome.
He doesn't, but he had him starting because of injuries.
Oh, when they was getting hurt. All right. Paul gonna take care of some business. Me and Paul gonna just talk. We gonna handle this series, Paul. Who you got, Mark?
Are you serious?
We still had to get your prediction in, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a sweep.
For the longest time, the Clippers were the last team to eliminate the Warriors, and out of the West, they were the last team for the longest.
What do you
time.
mean the last team to eliminate?
Like,
They're the team that last beat Golden State, right?
in the playoffs.
There was a first round series.
First round. First
So
round.
Chris Paul had beat Steph, right?
That was the year that we lost to.
That's with Mark Jackson?
We lost to OKC in the second round.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a good series. That was with Durant and Ibaka and West, and then
That's when
there was a
Steph
bad game. There was a bad call in one game, right?
Curry didn't get the foul call on the 3-point shot.
You talking about Clippers, Warriors? when they
Warriors,
last played?
right?
Okay.
And then in the Thunder series, Russell Westbrook got the call that Steph Curry didn't get on the same Chris Paul going underneath him on the 3-point shot.
Oh, wow.
And that changed the series. That's what made us lose, I believe.
Y'all lost in 6,
Yeah, we lost in 6, but that was game 5.
but everybody was close. But it was a close. Every one of them was a close game, I think.
Yeah,
right?
if they didn't make that call, we would have won game 5. We would have been up 3-2.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. That definitely changed the momentum. And then what happened in Game 6? You just got beat.
Game 6, we just got beat. Yeah, but the game 6 was also in OKC. So I think a lot of that had to do with it,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the Clippers are here. We got young players. are the most attractive
think-
free agent destination.
I agree, but this is about playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you think Doc should alter the starting five? Because I feel like that might be too small of a starting five to throw out against Golden State. Like they use Shamit, SGA, Beverly,
Yeah.
Gallinari, and Zubac.
So
I think they should have like Garrett Temple or JaMychal in there.
I was just at the Clippers Rockets game,
Okay.
sitting damn near courtside. Shout out to Joey Eberline
Humble brag.
for the hookup, man. And Pat Beverly was not in the lineup,
That night.
and so
Wait,
they
he's come back
put-
from injury though, right?
He was just recently injured.
So he was active but just didn't play.
No, he came back like 2 games or 3 games later.
Got you.
So he didn't play, right?
Yeah.
We got blown out by 36
Right.
to the Rockets. Capella was finishing every alley-oop with no resistance.
Yeah.
But we had Garrett Temple on James Harden.
And he
And-
wasn't doing much.
Well, the thing is, they didn't need James Harden. Chris Paul was the one that went
Oh,
off.
Chris Paul went
Chris
off
Paul
that
hit a 3/4 court 3-pointer.
Okay.
in
That's
that
the
game.
thing too. Like you forget because Chris Paul been banged up, and you're like, oh, is this the year where Chris Paul is really declining? And then it's like he could still have a game where he shows you them flashes. He just can't.
Yeah.
I don't think he can just do it every game anymore.
Yeah, I think
it was
he
good
got
got
one.
hurt early this season.
He got 1 or 2.
You thought it was
years.
good, right?
Yeah.
Because then he got the rest, he got the chill, take his
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
And then James did such a fucking phenomenal job. He carried that squad, and now they're healthy. Houston, we're gonna get to Houston in a second.
Yeah.
So
well, in conclusion,
Warrior, you got them getting at least one game at Staples.
no.
No.
So Chris Paul got 1 to 2 years left, and we'll see you guys next year.
as an elite point guard still.
Yeah, and we'll
Okay.
see you guys next year with Kawhi.
All right.
Ah.
That's how Paul feels. I got Golden State with the sweep. I don't think it's gonna be that much of a series. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. We have let's talk. We did 3-6. We did 1-8. We did 2-7. Okay, so the last one in the West. Houston versus Utah, 4-5. I'm a big Houston is like my West Coast team kind of. I've always kind of liked Houston. Like even when T-Mac was there, I was always kind of like watching a Houston game. And now James, I've always been a big fan of James. I was so upset when OKC let him go. So I've always kind of watched and rooted for James. And then Chris Paul is one of my favorite point guards.
Imagine if they would have kept that team
Yeah,
together.
I still think about that.
Whew.
You got to the finals in 3. You got to the finals in 3 years with them together.
You had 3 MVPs on one team. 3
Jesus Christ.
MVPs. Goodness. And the way Harden killing
Oh man, yeah.
and Durant, that's mind blowing how good they would have been.
Only $4 million, man. The owner didn't want to pay $4 million on that extension. Harden wanted 72. He's only trying to cough up 68. And they couldn't get the deal done, so they
Dude.
traded him before the season started.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And look what he became.
Look what he became.
That's just mind boggling.
So,
think about stuff like that.
I'm rooting for Houston. I actually feel that they can beat Golden State. I feel like now that they're healthy, they have all their weapons.
Oh, me too. Okay,
I'm one of those underdogs. Like I was like, yo, they had him dead to rights before Paul fucking hurt his hamstring, and even still, they had him dead to rights in Game 6 and 7 before they just bricked historically bad.
And that's the biggest debate I get into, especially
It's
from
Mike
last
D'Antoni's
year.
philosophy because it's like he is live by the 3 or die by the 3, but I felt like, yo, after 23s, maybe you don't have to die by the 3 tonight. Like,
Yeah.
by the 20 missed 3, I'm like, yo, maybe y'all can just fucking say, let's just call an audible and do something different. Like, let's just attack the rim and get to the free throw line. Let's just slow the game down.
You still can't tell me to this day that Houston wasn't going to win that series last year. If
Yeah.
Chris Paul did not go down.
Yeah.
They had it.
But that's Chris Paul every year. That's Chris Paul
almost
every year.
every year, yeah. He
breaks
gets
down.
hurt in the
Yeah,
playoff series, he'd break down.
That's one guy I cannot argue against.
Yeah.
When
I mean,
people
it
hit me
happened
with
like,
that.
what, 2 out of the 4 years or something with the Clippers? Like,
Yeah, hamstring. And
one
then
year
his
was a hamstring,
finger,
1 year was a finger.
You know what you forget about Houston, though, is just how deep they are.
They retooled, though, because I really like
Yeah.
Austin Rivers coming off the bench.
Austin Rivers.
Hold on. So
yeah.
they never had a backup guard either. So, like, pretty much it was Harden, Paul, and Gordon that were the creators last year. So once Paul went out, it was pretty much him and Gordon had to just do 48 minutes and do everything. And they had nobody off the bench. And I feel like if Chris Paul has to go down, if he goes down,
No, don't even say that. out loud.
I look, man, it happens,
When-
man. We
when
can't.
he
But
goes
this
down,
is,
when
that's
he
why I'm
goes
happy
down.
it's second round this time. Because
Right.
give him more time to be healthy.
He and I ideally should be more fresher going into the second round than he would
Yeah.
going into that conference finals.
And he already got hurt this year.
But
so.
he got it out the way. Nigga got it done early. Nigga got it done in November. Yeah. So Austin Rivers, I really feel can be the difference maker because he can be that backup guard
I'm going
to
to tell you my difference maker.
Iman Daniel House.
Fareed.
Fareed, yes.
Man, Fareed. That
Yeah.
is the best pickup.
And he learned how to shoot a 3-pointer.
I forgot about Fareed till they got him back. I'm just like, because I used to watch that dude back in the day. Like, this dude
He was
used
a
to
beast.
kill.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize he was on.
They just start sitting him saying, like, we can't use you. You just, you don't have a place here. And then.
And that's kind of to my Carmelo Anthony point. Like, you get this dude
you give him
a chance to play his game.
Yeah.
He'll still be a
And
killer.
they needed Fareed because they lost Capella. They had no bigs. So they were like, yo, well, fuck it. If we already play small, let's just get this small nigga who like to bang. And he's 6'7", 235, whatever, and he just like to go get it and get them rebounds. And
so are we talking about the Golden State?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So it was still Houston Jazz.
We'll say
Utah's a good team. I don't know if they're healthy all the way through. Like, I don't know if Rubio's going to be out again. So I feel like Jazz ultimately just don't have enough offense to compete. Like, I think even if Gobert is a better defender this year than he was last year, I still feel like they're going to kill him in that pick and roll. Houston's bench is good. They can score.
Amazing bench.
I don't see Utah. Maybe it goes 6, but I would say 5. I'll say it'll be 5 again.
I agree. Houston and 5.
So do we want to play we want to go into more predictions into the next rounds?
I definitely.
You want to do that?
That's the good round.
All right, so let's cover that other round.
That's the playoffs really start.
So San Antonio would go against either my prediction of Portland or your prediction of OKC. Who would win the San Antonio OKC series?
I think my Spurs have a better chance of beating Portland than they do OKC. I think OKC has always given my Spurs a bit of a problem.
I think that could go 7. I would probably take the coaching of Pop and say San Antonio would beat Portland in 7.
Hey, I'm going with your prediction.
But if they go against OKC, I would actually feel like OKC could overcome it. I think they have more talent than the Spurs do.
I'm rooting for Portland to win the first round.
Okay. All right. So then let's get to the other one. This will probably we get into the one of the hypes, the rematch. Golden State Houston. I mean, I guess it probably will go to 7.
I got Houston in 6.
Houston in 6.
I got
All right.
Houston in
Let's
6.
talk about why it would get wrapped up in 6. The way they'll kill Boogie. And
yes.
What about Bogut though? He helps
now,
them.
that is a good pickup. I have to admit.
Slimmer.
I was swearing to everybody. I'm just like, they're not gonna be able to hang with Houston because Houston is too deep. They gave up their bench.
Right.
And they just got
Andrew Bogut. They took him back from Australia. He's slimmer. They only gonna need him for like 20 minutes a night, so he don't gotta play bigger minutes than he used to because he's older.
Right. That definitely helps.
It definitely helps. But do you think that's still not enough, or why do you feel
I don't think it's enough because you got
the
center. The center is the key. The center position.
All right.
So you got Capella, you got Nate, and you got Fareed
if need be.
So yeah. So.
And you just feel like they'll be way more. Do you think they'll shoot better overall from the 3 this year than last year? Like you feel like Daniel House, the unproven, undrafted dude, he just really knows how to hit threes. And then D'Antoni likes him. They got Rivers. Iman could come in the game and go off for a half or whatever. He might get 3 threes and play really good perimeter defense.
I mean, I'm focused more on the defense.
I think they have enough bodies to throw at them. That's what I like. It's like Iman can go give hell for 5-10 minute spurts.
Right.
Play balls out, just fucking make him work.
See, with the threes, you could live and die by the 3. But both teams take bad shots to me. Like Golden State takes some of the worst shots. Yeah. It just happens to go in because of Stephen Curry.
I like the perimeter defense that Houston has because they just have more people they can throw now. They got Austin Rivers come off the bench and Iman, who they can just hound.
I love Austin Rivers' defense.
Yeah. He'll play. They're gonna get minutes. Like I feel like Iman wasn't really getting that much minutes up and down with the Rockets during the season, but I feel like they just know we just gonna need you for these 5-7 minute spurts where we just need you to fucking play all out on Curry, make him work for everything, and just
of
hit
course
them
he's familiar with them as many times he done played.
Yeah, he knows them.
Finals, so
that could work out into their favor. PJ Tucker's always pretty good. Like I said, they got to use Fareed. I feel like D'Antoni if he doesn't play Fareed, then I'm really just going to be mad at D'Antoni.
Oh my God!
If he don't extend that fucking rotation and not only try to play 6-7 niggas for the whole game, that's also his problem. He runs his players into the ground.
He does.
And he just doesn't know. He doesn't have the.
And that's why I'm happy it's a second round matchup versus the Western Conference Finals. Like
so,
I actually love the way this played out for these.
So would you rather see Houston OKC or Houston San Antonio? For the viewer's eye.
I mean, in the name of basketball, Houston versus OKC would be better.
But for you, Houston, San Antonio.
Yeah, Spurs fan.
And you got Spurs. You think Spurs can beat Houston? You think Pop could outcoach D'Antoni? He has in the past. He owns them.
I was about to say, for some reason, Coach actually.
Yeah.
Pop has their number. He knows how to beat Houston.
Are you worried about the talent discrepancy?
With Fareed coming back, that dude is really the key to me. But yeah.
Yeah, the
I
bench
think they
is
got too many weapons.
I feel like the bench is the key, and they're more versatile than last year's team.
Yeah. But Pop does know how to beat them for some reason. He knows how to keep them off the 3-point line or run them off the 3-point line.
Right.
Gives them their worst percentage shooting 3 when he plays against them.
Yeah.
And even that time we beat them, we did it without Kawhi.
That's true.
he was hurt that game. Let him rest that game, and Houston still
They
lost.
still got it done.
So
All right.
for some reason,
So,
Pop knows.
so San Antonio in an ideal Mark world.
No, I don't want.
Okay, you don't want.
I would rather the finals. I believe is going to be Houston and Toronto. So I
All
would
right.
rather see that.
Okay, but you're hoping San Antonio gets there somehow, some way.
Just trying to.
There
be
is a
true
pathway.
Fan,
There
trying to
is
be
a
true fan, but
unless they play Golden State. If they get to the conference finals and got the Golden State, they're not winning that.
being a Spurs fan, yes, that's
Right.
dope that they'll get there. But to me, they have no chance of winning. So I would rather it be a competitive finals.
For sure.
So I like to see Houston.
Okay, me too. I want to
Yeah.
see Houston. All right, let's take it to the East. So let's get the easy one out the way.
One last thing for my
Go ahead,
Spurs
go ahead.
fans. I just think we're like one piece away. So
You think DeJounte Murray coming back it helps, or they just need to sign
I
somebody?
gotta watch him. But I was really hoping we got Conley. I was like, if
Oh,
y'all
for
got
trade that- that'd be a
Conley,
good trade.
like we
You
would
think
be
they'll try
back
to
in
go after him in the
championship
offseason?
mode. I would love them too, but I don't think they will because it's a lot of money and they do want to see how Devontae does.
I think you need to maybe shift the focus on like a two-way wing, like a 6'8" guy, like that's like that wing, that 3-and-D guy, or the 3-and-D who can make some plays. Like
Ooh.
I don't know if you could steal Chris Middleton. He would be ideal in San Antonio though. He's like a quiet guy. He's San Antonio all written all over him, but they don't really have cap space like that, so they have to kind of like trade for somebody who's a good, solid like 6'7", 6'8" wing guy. I don't know if you could trade for. Would Pop try to work with Butler or no? Jimmy Butler?
I would love Butler on the Spurs.
He would be great. I think
I would love Butler on the Spurs. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
No,
think-
I think the best fit,
Who's it?
Tobias. I think Tobias Harris. would be a good
Tobias'
fit.
defense doesn't hold up though. He would be an upgrade over Rudy Gay though, because he essentially is kind of the Rudy. He'd be the Rudy Gay role, but he could get more buckets at this point in his career than Rudy could.
Oh, y'all giving me hope. I'll take either one of them.
But they have to maneuver a trade. It have to be like a sign and trade though, because they just
Yeah,
can't,
it
I don't
would-
think they can
it would
outright
with-
sign anybody
with the cap.
with the
yeah.
cap stuff. So they have to pull off a good trade. But I think if DeJounte, because I feel like a torn ACL guys, I mean. Guards usually can come back from an ACL. I mean, obviously it was hard for Rose. He's mad, but even still, Rose has shown he can be productive when he's healthy.
Right.
It's just if you can stay healthy. But I think sitting out DeJounte a whole year, he's gonna have a whole summer because to his benefit it happened in training camp. So you have the season, then you have the whole off season, and you should be ready by next year because it'll be about a year.
Yeah, so I don't think they're gonna go after anybody just to see.
Yeah, because I think
like, what
guard
he
depth they'll
does.
have. They got Forbes, they got Derek White.
Right.
Lonnie Walker's the rookie. Maybe he'll step up a little bit next year. He'll get some minutes. So I think the wing is that 6'8", 6'7" guy. Because DeMar is like a 2-3. So I think that guy at the 3-4 spot
Okay.
is if they get somebody really good who can play both ways, I think
My
he would.
Spurs will be back.
Spurs could be back, man. I mean, as long as Pop's coaching, I'm with him.
Right.
Before you go to the East,
what's
do
up, what's up?
you want some breaking West news?
What?
Paul's been online. What's up?
Luke Walton to the Kings.
Already?
Oh, dang.
Yo, D-Bock ain't
Was
wasting
that
no
24
time.
hours?
Yeah,
Was that
one
24
day.
hours?
Yo, he ain't waste no time.
Multi-year deal.
Goodness.
Multi-year deal. Yo, I gotta give up to the Kings. I mean, I didn't understand the Georgia
Goodness.
firing, but I knew it was just because they clashed a lot, and Divock just was like, I don't like this guy. And he's successful.
Yeah.
But Luke has a team now that he wants to coach, and he can coach the style. They're gonna do good.
Wow.
I was worried about them because I was like, man, Vladdy's gonna fuck this up, and he just got an extension because I thought Gerger was a good coach, or however you say his name, but
Jaeger.
Luke Walton is he's a great fit for that because I already know how Luke wants to play, and I feel like Luke didn't get his fair change in LA.
Of course not.
LeBron didn't want to run up and down for most of the game. They didn't want to work with Luke, so I felt like he was in a tough position. Saying Sacramento's perfect, less pressure. You still get to stay in California. You fucking got a balls out point guard De'Aaron Fox who's gonna run the show. They don't have a draft pick this year, but you got cap space. They can sign somebody. They good. They gonna be good.
Assets. Yeah.
Yeah, you got assets. Shout out to Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah, beat LA's ass next year.
I wasn't even 24 hours. Goodness.
Yeah, they didn't wait it off for that. That's like after somebody. Is it too fucked up to do a Nipsey joke? All right. Yeah. All right.
Oh, please.
Sorry.
Yeah, avoid it.
They moved on him like Kodak. that's
hilarious.
that's fucked up. But shout outs to Luke Walton for recovering really quickly. I thought he was gonna maybe take the UCLA job.
I knew that was on the table.
Yeah, it was. Well, they signed somebody. Who they signed from? They took the coach from Cincinnati. I think I forgot his name, Mark Cronin, but he took the UCLA gig.
Yeah.
So Luke Walton locked up. He's gonna be running the show. That's good. That's a really good move, man.
Happy for him.
What's up there on the Philly game?
75 to 70.
Ah, okay.
If this is updated.
So maybe we watch the podcast and then watch the rest of the
Brooklyn's
game.
way. Brooklyn's way.
We close the game out after we finish the podcast.
Yeah.
So all right, we're gonna move on to the East.
Let's go.
Let's get this first round knockout out the way. Milwaukee, Detroit. I feel like they're gonna sweep them.
Blake Griffin.
He's hobbled, man. Blake played, and I feel bad because Blake played amazing. He had probably his best year in like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He played for the most of the season, 70-something games. But the knee, he got knee issues the last couple years. The last couple weeks he couldn't finish the season strong, and if that knee ain't good, they don't have a chance to win a game or two.
Yeah, another one that go down every season.
Yeah, I mean, but he's so like you really saw Blake round out his game. Like the man could shoot off the dribble threes now, can play pick and roll. He's passing.
He definitely got better.
He can handle. He can mix it up in the post and then still occasionally bang on somebody. You know, even though he can't jump like he used to, he can still get up. You know, he's a better athlete than 90% of the power forwards still. And it's just like damn, but he limped to the season, man. Detroit just don't have enough guys. Kawhi, I mean, Giannis gonna run through him. Like that's not even easily. So I feel like they're not gonna be able to match up. So that's a sweep.
I agree. Detroit.
Everybody, Detroit, all the way. I mean, Milwaukee all the way around. Yeah. R.I.P. Detroit. Bad boys, not for life.
Y'all made the playoffs.
Y'all made the playoffs. Y'all gonna get two games at home. Some extra money for the Cheesecake Arena. What's they called? The Little Caesars Arena.
Are you
below
serious?
500, right? Weren't they below 500?
Nah, everybody finished above 500 in the East. I think they got 42 or 40 or 41-41.
Okay.
I'm happy too because I hate how they shit on the
I
East.
hate when that happened.
But the East, actually, everybody in the East finished above 500 or
I
500.
actually like the East better than the West this year.
Yeah, because I think that top four is way better. But the West from top 1 through 8 is
more competitive.
But the top four of the East are elite. Let's go to 4-5 matchup, Boston, Indiana. So Boston did lose Marcus Smart, but I don't feel like that's going to be the worst thing in the world for them because I feel like the guys who've been complaining or maybe have hurt their chemistry with the rotation minutes, they'll get to step up. Like I think Jaylen Brown will get to be at the 2.
How bad was Tatum's injury?
He'll be back, I believe. I don't think it was serious.
He playing tomorrow?
He should play.
Okay, good.
So I feel like, Jaylen Brown will get to be. I feel Jaylen Brown should be the starting 2 guard. He still has the toughness edge to him that Marcus kind of provides, like because I feel like Terry's too small to help in the backcourt. So I feel like Jaylen has the size and he has the skill set to match up with them. And you still got Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and all those other guys off the bench helping them. So I don't feel like they're gonna lose anything offensively. And everybody gets more minutes. Like Rozier will get now 25 minutes. Jaylen Brown gets 30 minutes. Gordon Hayward can get 30 minutes. So they'll be happy with their minutes and their touches. And I feel like it won't bother them.
I got Boston at 5 on that one.
5?
5.
Yeah, I feel like Indy don't have the offense. I was hoping when they had signed Tyreke Evans, I felt like this is gonna be a good thing because Tyreke kind of played well in Memphis. He showed out. He had his best season, even though Memphis kind of like tanked and after everybody got hurt, they pretty much lost the season. But I felt like he would have been good for Oladipo because it's like Oladipo's that all-star 20-point scorer, creator, and then off the bench you have another guy who's for the most part in his career, even though he underachieved in my opinion, he still can get you 15 to 20 on a given night. You know, he's done it. He's averaged it close to that before in the league, so he would be a good fit off the bench, but he just didn't play that well. But maybe he pulls off a playoff series where he just plays phenomenal. Like maybe Nate McMillan just says, you know what,
for one game,
he could have a game or two.
About the series.
Well, it depends on how he was used because Nate McMillan hasn't really shown trust in him. Okay. So they've been starting Wes Matthews, so I don't think he's gonna start Tyreke over Matthews, but like maybe he'll give him 35 minutes and he'll just score because they just need scoring. Like they're a great defensive team, but they don't score enough.
That'd be dope next year, but it's over for them.
Without Oladipo, it's not really. It's a lost cause.
Yeah.
So they got 5. Yeah, they probably win 1 game at home, or they could surprise Boston if the Boston don't get their chemistry right, and they.
Now that would be. Oh my God, the articles I'm just thinking about.
If they blew this series, I don't see it happening.
Kyrie definitely gone.
I think there's too much talent. Yeah, for sure. And
Anthony Davis would want to come there. Like,
they gotta win this series.
They got
5 Boston in 5. You got 5 or 4 sweep.
I got Boston in 5.
Okay, yeah. So everybody pretty universally agrees Indiana probably can get 1 just off of willpower, and then.
And I say lose a couple, just so your player can come back.
Oh, you kind of like tank rest but win.
Yeah.
Okay. You think teams really do that?
I would do it if I was the coach. Lose 2, give Smart a chance to come back.
Okay.
More games.
Extend it. Okay. So, all right. So we can go to what's the game that's currently going on is Brooklyn and Philadelphia, game 1 to start the playoffs. So what's the score now?
Brooklyn was up by 7 when I just checked.
These punks might lose.
All right.
See, D'Lo's
playing inspired.
Yeah, but here's my thing with Philly though. It's like because I've watched Philly a lot, and I have theories about how I would coach the team because of based on how I see guys as skill sets thing. And I think with Joel out, you just have Ben Simmons be point center. I think he should just play the 5. Jarrett Allen is not a physical dude, so I feel like he can match up with DeMelo and not really feel like he's getting overpowered because Jarrett Allen doesn't like beef you up. He's just a rim running big who just catches lobs, second chance points. He's not he's not strong like that.
Who started at center today?
I don't know who started center. I didn't see the lineups.
I'll look it up right now.
So I feel you could have had Ben Simmons at the 5, but like point center. If Jimmy's back, he's gonna get his touches. So you have Jimmy there. JJ Redick starting at the 2. You got Tobias Harris at the 4. Now he was hurt most of his rookie year, but he came on late and they started giving him some burn. Their rookie Zaire Smith from Texas Tech, who they drafted. He was a defensive guy coming out of Texas Tech, and they said his offense might take a minute, but he can shoot a standstill 3. And he likes to crash the glass. He likes to move around. He likes to cut, which is what Ben Simmons likes because he likes niggas that move around.
Right.
And you use Zaire to just chase around all the point guards, like D'Angelo Russell. You just have him stick all the guards because JJ Redick can't do it. You know, Jimmy Butler can. He's more suited for like wings and switching, but I don't think it's right to make Jimmy chase the point guard or the guy who has the ball in his hands all the time.
You said who started for 76ers today, right?
I mean, I didn't know who started. He asked.
Embiid started.
Oh, he played.
Yeah,
so he's playing.
So Embiid has
I saw him
15
warming
and
up.
16. But I will say that Bobby and Mike Scott have a lot of minutes.
They've been playing a lot
Off the
today,
bench.
so they're
Yeah,
sharing a
yeah.
lot of minutes. So
So they're
Embiid's
sharing.
workload hasn't been crazy.
Yeah, and Bobby
they
has
losing
13
tonight.
points in 15 minutes.
So it's limited minutes. Okay.
They
Well, not
was-
limited, but he's reduced minutes.
Yeah, he's
Which
not
is
playing.
crazy.
Yeah, he's not at 30 minutes. Everybody else is at like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
but apparently the big thing with this game is JJ Redick.
He's not showing up.
They said that what happens is
He's getting killed on defense.
Yeah, they're saying that Brooklyn's searching him out,
Right.
and then he's not hitting threes on the other end. So that's the big discrepancy.
You gotta look, man. I'm telling you, you have to start Zaire. You have to let Zaire play because they don't have anybody on that team. Like McConnell's a good backup guard. He shouldn't be starting. Zaire is an athletic beast. Like he could jump out the gym. He should be just sticking D'Angelo Russell or whoever has the ball in their hands. You got to make that starting 5 work because otherwise JJ's going to get abused. They found their guy who they can abuse because JJ's too old to be chasing guards. And if he ain't got no legs, he can't make them threes.
I'm just thinking about the implications if they pull this off.
Ben Simmons having a bad game too. He's
So
got 3 points in 22
If
minutes.
Brooklyn beats the
So
76ers in the series,
He ain't got no heart.
no, I'm
they
just
gonna
saying,
think
you
about
know
trading
Butler
one of them.
gone, you know,
and
Yeah.
Toby.
Toby
Butler-
would stay. I think Toby would stay. He's
But-
more of a team glue guy. He don't have the ego. I think he'll stay.
Butler's the
Think
one
he'll
that's carrying
They'll
them
throw
right
him the
now.
money tonight. Butler's carrying them.
32 points.
He's showing up. All
in
right.
the third quarter.
but
Damn, I
I
they're
think,
losing in Philly?
I think it'll just make it more attractive for people to go to Boston, though. I mean, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn for sure, because it's like
Oh,
damn,
yeah.
Offseason,
they need
yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they was able to beat the
Shit,
76ers.
Jimmy should just say fuck these niggas. I go play for Brooklyn because
Yeah.
Brooklyn they don't have a really good 3-4 guy like that. So I would take
That's
if I'm
major.
Jimmy I would think about or Tobias. Shit, Tobias would be good for Brooklyn.
Tobias would be really good. With
He'll be that
Brooklyn.
4 because they don't really have a
Right.
good starting 4.
Him and
That,
D'Lo.
that 4 man.
Dude, this is blowing my mind if they win.
They're up by 11. Brooklyn's up 11.
Yo,
been
Kenny
thinking about
Atkinson,
that.
they call Philly. That's just if they drop the ball in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude,
Trust the process.
I don't know if there's much to trust. I mean, look, they can. It's just one game. Sometimes a team can just.
No, I'm just
hit-
being imaginative.
matinee.
Like,
It's
if
a
they
matinee
did,
game. Sometimes
yeah.
you can get hit with a sleeper. You're not.
Right.
You know. You
Just to wake 'em up.
You need one game to
You
calibrate.
better wake them up.
Yeah, you better wait. You better wake up.
Y'all cannot. Oh
Yeah.
my, y'all will get pounded in the media.
Yeah, we gotta finish this up so we can watch that fourth quarter.
Right.
Next series, Magic Raptors 2-7. Now the Raptors lost OG Anunoby, who's their bench wing. I don't know if
Sweet.
that's gonna make a difference. It helps them a little bit, but
I like him a lot.
Orlando is not talented offensively like that. They have a couple of guys like Vucevic had a great season, made the All-Star team. Terrence Ross is their big threat off the bench. Aaron Gordon can show out. DJ Augustine is just not good enough well, he's a decent, solid point guard, but they don't have anybody at that 1 to 2 who can really put points in the hole. But they're a good defensive team, so I feel like they hang their hat on defense and they have the athletes to stick with Toronto. But Toronto just got the talent, man. You got Kawhi, you got fucking Pascal Siakam, who's the MIP, probably. Siakam. You got
Oh,
Lowry,
yeah.
who's an
MVP.
All-Star when he's
Siakam
healthy.
was killing, man.
Marc Gasol, who now he got to play a reduced role, which is great because he don't got to play 30 minutes tonight anymore. So he's
Ibaka's
just
having a great year.
25 minutes, and
That's
Ibaka
great.
played really well. They finally used him the right way. It's like I think Nick Nurse did a great job saying, okay, when teams play bigger guys, we're gonna go with Valanciunas, and when they're going with the small ball 5 or with the athletic rim running 5, that's when we use you, and it works
like
for Ibaka.
Valanciunas, man.
So Ibaka's gonna play well. Yeah, Toronto. I think Orlando gets like at least one game. I think there's one game where Terrence Ross might hit up his old team for like 40 or 30 something. He'll go hot. He'll get hot, and then Orlando will just play all out. But Toronto probably get it in 5.
I see a sweep.
You see sweep?
In
You're
4.
not giving them no
Nah.
respect. All right.
None at all.
All right. Cool. What was your prediction?
Yeah, I got Raptors. I got Raptors sweeping.
All right. Let's get to. Was that the last series?
No, there's one
We're
more.
missing one.
What's the last one?
Hold up.
We did
Let me
Detroit,
look it up.
Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Philly,
Two-
Magic, Raptors, and Boston.
3-6. Did you do 3-6?
We didn't. Oh, okay. So we didn't really say how we feel. So what's going to be our outcome? I was going to say Philly in 6. I took Philly in 6.
I would have said sweep.
I wasn't going to say sweep because Brooklyn's too well coached, man. It was a great matchup for them. Yeah.
I'm really shocked by this score.
Yeah, man. It's going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
End of the third, Nets are up by 11.
All right. I got Philly. I'm not gonna show doubt with Philly. I feel like they'll get it together. Ben Simmons need to find his heart though. He can't say shit if he plays 4 more games like the one he's playing tonight.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna? The ball is in your hands. Like, what is the issue?
He's got to go from Kendall Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner. That'll inspire.
Stupid.
Hot take. Paul thinks he got to switch Jenners.
I've been shocked about this score, man. I
feel like he should reshuffle that starting 5. Like, I feel like.
And Embiid played.
Okay, if Embiid plays, here's the problem, right? Embiid playing means there's well, he's an okay 3-point shooter. He's not great. So you got Tobias who can shoot the 3 really good. Butler's a decent, solid 3-point shooter. I don't know how I can't say Zaire is a consistent 3-point threat, but I feel like you can't leave JJ out on the floor though if he's costing you like that. I feel like you should focus on defense, and if Zaire is locking up D'Lo or making it hard for him,
I'm sorry, you want to bench him?
I use JJ as a 6-man and let him anchor the bench, or use like James Ennis or Jonathan Simmons on the wing, because you have enough offense. You don't like JJ just makes the starting 5 like potent, but like you got 4 scorers.
Yeah,
I think you should focus on stopping, on playing defense and a guy who doesn't need shots. So if you use a Jonathan Simmons or a Zaire Smith, some guy who doesn't require the ball, it maybe make that starting 5 work, that starting 5 flow better, because now Ben Simmons, he can run the team, he can, handle the rock more, he can get Butler his shots, get Tobias his shots, get Embiid his shots. So you only got 3 guys to worry about instead of 4. And you have a better defense on the other side of the floor because they have nobody, none of them can guard a 1. Ben Simmons is too big.
Right.
Joel Embiid, he could switch well, but he's not. Jimmy Butler shouldn't be sticking to 1. And
you got 3 starters with 5 points or less right now.
Tobias got 5 too.
Tobias got 4.
It's still
Simmons
hard
got 5.
Are they in foul
got
trouble?
2.
What's the problem?
But that's still hard because it's the playoffs. You can't make these switches in the playoffs right now.
No, sometimes you gotta. There are people who they've seen what's happening in 1 game, 2 game, and they just change it. Like they just decide, no, if he can't guard him, you gotta just make the call. JJ, this is what happens. JJ is built. He is built correctly for the playoffs, but not to start. It's the same thing with Golden State when they did with Kyle Korver. They know Korver can shoot, but if you're taking him out and making him work on defense, he's not gonna be productive. It's the same shit they did. We're going to call the pick and roll. We're going to keep screaming until we get this nigga, and I'm going to abuse the shit out of him. And that's what D'Lo's doing.
Want some crazy numbers right now?
What's up?
So these are the plus-minus for the starters right now for the 76ers.
Hot take, live plus-minus to start for the starters.
Jimmy Butler plus 11. Tobias Harris plus 5. Embiid is minus 17. Simmons is minus 23. And Redick's minus 26.
Fuck, that's bad. I'm telling you, man, I really don't think you'll lose if you take out Redding. I'll say James Ennis can hit a 3-point shot. And you can maybe have him guard D'Lo, but you need a guy who just doesn't care about scoring, like who doesn't hang his hat on scoring. I think you should work to balance out the egos of the starting 5 and put one in there just for the defensive purposes and live with that. Because the thing with Ben Simmons, that's the problem too. With Ben Simmons not shooting, because they can clamp the floor. So
right.
You have to at least have 2 or 3 guys that can knock down the shot. But I feel like you should just use JJ come off the bench, man.
This is amazing.
If this happens again in game 2, you gotta bench him when you go to Brooklyn. I'll say keep the same starting 5 game 2. But if you bet
Brooklyn took their home court advantage. Dude, I'm mind blown right now looking at this. Dude.
Not over yet.
It's not good.
Not over yet.
It's not over yet.
Yeah,
All
my
right.
third. Well,
So
okay,
this
it's 10.
let's wrap this up because we're gonna huddle by the TV and watch old school. Are we gonna watch in the back?
I think we were watching.
We're gonna watch in the back. So we're gonna be niggas and cut this shit up. All right. You know what? Sorry.
Second round.
We gotta do fuck. We gotta do these other rounds. God damn it.
We can hammer it out.
We can hammer it out.
We can
Okay.
hammer it out.
So if Philly, like they're supposed to, beat Brooklyn, they would play the winner of Toronto versus Orlando. So they play Toronto. So Philly, Toronto. Who do you got?
Toronto.
You trust Toronto?
I do trust Toronto.
Just because of the drama and they have more chemistry. You think
More chemistry. You got 2 more championship players. You got Kawhi and Green.
Yeah, can't forget about Green.
They were number 1 seed last year, but now you add the championships experience and like the best 2-way player in the game.
And Kawhi sitting 20 games for rest, load
So he's
management.
fresh,
It probably would have been number 1 actually.
Yeah, so
I think about it now. Like he missed 20 games and they still only finished 4 games behind Milwaukee. Yeah, they probably could have won 65.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Definitely.
Yeah, I could probably give Kawhi 10 more games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you just can't trust Philly. Philly's just not. They don't.
Nah, man. Like I
Too much
was
talent, but
really
not enough chemistry
enjoying.
and-
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just not enough time for them to gel, and Embiid is just
And figure out
can't
how they
stay
want to
healthy.
play. Yeah. Okay. So you got Toronto on what, 6?
They playing like this. I might have to say 5.
I'm rooting for Philly. I want Philly to make the final because I feel like a Philly Golden State or Houston finals would be great entertainment. So I'm pushing Philly all the way through. Philly gonna beat Toronto in 7. Boston versus Milwaukee. Marcus Smart's probably not gonna make that series,
Wow, Milwaukee.
but Milwaukee doesn't have Brogdon and they don't have I think Meritic either.
I thought they're supposed to come back in the second round. At least
Oh,
Mary.
they'll be ready. Okay, so all right, under that premise that they'll be back, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Milwaukee.
Milwaukee in how
Boston.
many games?
I go 7.
Because I need disappointment in Boston's locker room to get Kyrie to come over to New York. I have Milwaukee winning in 7. I think it'll take 7 games, but I think Giannis will come up in Game 7 very big, and I think Boston, unless Kyrie has the ball in his hands and gets off a good shot, I think Boston will lose it. And so Milwaukee, Boston 7, which has Milwaukee, Toronto. My prediction is Milwaukee, Philly conference finals. You got Milwaukee, Toronto conference finals.
Yes.
So who would win in your conference finals?
Toronto.
In what? How many games?
That'll be 7 as well.
How about you, Paul?
Not gonna be easy.
Oh, who was your second round prediction?
Toronto.
Toronto
I got
what?
Toronto and Milwaukee.
Okay, so who would go in your conference finals?
I'm going Toronto.
In what? How many games?
Toronto in 7.
So I'm the only one who says Philly.
Yeah.
But so you got Toronto in 7?
The team you picked to come out of the East is losing at halftime to Brooklyn.
Hey man,
Yeah, to Brooklyn.
hey
Like,
man, things happen. But this might be what they need. They might be the foot to the neck. They need to stomp it around.
with no star. Well, okay, D'Angelo.
D'Angelo's an all-star. Who else? Karis LeVert is a good player. He was on his way before he got hurt.
I think Jody Meeks signed a 10-day deal, man. I think that's their 3 right now.
For Philly?
No, for Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
That's their 3.
All right. Goddamn Brooklyn. I know. Shout out to Tariq. Tariq is watching watching the game at a bar somewhere going hype because Brooklyn is actually winning.
Yeah.
Okay, so the finals. We were rooting for Houston. So we got, and you have Golden State.
I have Toronto, Golden State.
All right, how many games does that go in your prediction?
I'm going to make a bold prediction right now.
Ooh.
I think there's
Ooh.
no team
Ooh.
in the NBA that matches up better with Golden State than Toronto.
I'm not going to give you short words. You have the floor, Paul. Break this matchup down.
All right. So I just think watching Toronto play,
Yes.
Siakam, Ibaka, Gasol, I think they match up perfectly with Golden State. I'm taking Toronto in 6
Okay.
Nice.
against Golden
I
State.
can see your point there because Lowry, all-star point guard, even though he's come up short because of his size, he could give somebody work. Danny Green, great two-way player. He's a good matchup for Clay. Clay has to play defense, even though Danny Green's not a creator. He's a three-point shooter, and he can, slash and cut. He cuts well. Kawhi KD is going to be great. I would love that.
Remember, even though obviously minus DeMarcus and KD, but remember, like you were talking about Zaza Pachulia, and if Zaza didn't take out Kawhi, I think Kawhi is a warrior killer
He's
Yeah,
a
he
warrior
is a
killer.
warrior.
if he's healthy.
So,
Definitely.
and whether Kawhi wants to go head-to-head to KD or Kawhi just wants to fucking sag off of Draymond and play help defense on KD because they got Pascal guarding KD.
Yep.
That's very good matchup. And then whether Golden State wants to go small in their small ball 5, Ibaka would man that. Or if they want to use Boogie, nobody better to bang with him than Gasol, who got 25 minutes. And if who got 25 minutes ready to go for that nigga.
Yep. And then Kawhi is bringing his championship ring to the LA
And
Clippers.
Toronto's bench is good because Ianobi, he should be back by then. If they were to make the finals, he can give you a good 20 minutes off the bench. They got Van Vliet. They got
Keeper, man.
Jeremy Lin, who could give them a quarter if they needed to be.
Linsanity's returning.
They got Norman Powell. They got bodies, man. They have all the ingredients if they're healthy to definitely take it. So
Yeah.
I want Philly because I think Golden State would be the best trash talking, physical, possibly physical, and most entertaining NBA Finals of the last probably 5 years.
If I saw that one, though, I think Golden State would get.
Philly played them really well when they played each other.
They did.
Even though it's just
I was-
one game, regular season game. Sometimes some games, regular season matchups do matter. Some games they don't because it depends on who's on the roster, how well were they gelling, who was playing.
I was actually saying I thought Philly would beat Golden State if they met in the finals, but just with this inconsistency down the
You can't
down
trust
the stretch,
inconsistency.
and then Embiid just not being healthy,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Then I have to pause.
But if we're gonna go Toronto, I feel like
I got Toronto.
I'll go with the Kawhi killer theory too. But I would say it would go 7. I just believe that it would be intense, but it would Toronto could take it to 7. How about you?
I think Toronto will beat Golden State. I've been saying that since the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And they whooped them twice this year.
I'm just so glad it's so unpredictable. Like, granted, I love LeBron, and I was always wanting to see what team could actually beat LeBron in the East, and we won't see that happen, but there will be a really, really great team in the East that will come out.
Yeah.
We have 4 possibly good teams that could give
That's
Golden
true.
State a good run for their money. To make a good, because we all knew LeBron was great, and he carried those Cleveland teams, but the East just weren't ready in terms of those other teams, and but we all knew Golden State would take them down. But this year, there's a really, really good team that can give Golden State a great series. Like since probably that 7 game that we had with Kyrie and Kev a couple.
And Golden State is not going to have a easy walk to the finals if they do make it. You got to go through Houston, and you may possibly have to go through OKC.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
I think OKC.
OKC. Yeah. let's not think about the other teams because I don't trust those other teams.
That's a hard path
I don't think
to
Denver's
the finals.
challenging them. Nope. San Antonio, Portland, none of them challenge them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think my Spurs have no chance against Golden State.
Yeah. OKC is where OKC would give them the most work.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Toronto, Golden State. It looks like I want.
I say Toronto,
I want
Houston.
Philly,
I
Golden
still
State.
say Toronto,
Oh
Houston.
yeah, Philly, Houston. Right. I want Philly, Houston. Sorry.
I think Houston's gonna take them out.
So
I really do.
I want Philly, Houston, but it's probably gonna be Golden State and probably
I
Golden
say
State, and
Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna wrap this
And
up.
I have Toronto winning that series.
Okay. You got Toronto winning in 6 or 5? What do you think? Sweep? Is Kawhi that much of a killer?
Nah, definitely not.
Okay. So 6?
I might go 7.
7?
That
Yeah,
might
I
go
want 7.
Yeah.
7 comes down to the last shot. Kawhi takes KD 1-on-1 on the ISO, grills it. KD gets so mad he blows up at Draymond because he didn't get help, and he's gonna sign
I'm
with the
gonna say
Knicks.
6 because how they whooped him without Kawhi this year.
Right.
So
Okay.
with Kawhi being there, I'm gonna say 6.
All right. So 6. I got 7.
Yeah.
I'll give it more because I need circumstances to take place. So I need Kawhi to take KD 1-on-1. Draymond decides not to help him because he said, you know what, fuck you, bitch. KD gets mad and yells at Draymond like, how you not gonna help? I'm your teammate. Draymond says, nigga, I don't give a fuck. You've been disrespecting us all year, but I
You outta
committed.
here.
And KD says, you know what? I don't need this shit. I gave y'all 2 rings. I'm going to New
And
York.
then next year,
signs
KD
with New
goes
York.
to Toronto.
No,
That's
he's
what he
not going to
does.
Toronto.
He
Anthony
joins
Davis-
the team that beats him. So he's
Anthony
going
Davis
against
gets
Toronto.
cut and signs a 10-day deal with the Clippers,
God damn it, Paul.
and we take it.
It'd be hilarious if New Orleans got Zion. That'd be so
Yo,
funny.
if they get, you think AD would say if they could draft the Zion? If New Orleans won? There's always a team.
That would be dope.
Hot take on the draft lottery because I'm obviously as a Knicks fan I've been fucking dreading this day, the May 14th lottery date all year because I knew it was gonna happen. We secured bottom 5, but we got Pat Ewing who's gonna represent the lottery. So there's a chance that we finally will we might get some luck and get that number one because he was our only number 1 pick.
I hope so. I actually do hope that happens because the Knicks do
I
need
would
some
love to have
bodies,
Zion,
man. It needs to
honestly.
be a factor in the NBA. I'm tired of them like being obsolete.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And I hope Chicago gets Ja Morant so they can have a good point guard to lead there. I think that would be a good nucleus for them
Yeah.
if they get Ja Morant.
I think Chicago way better than what they played this year. I think they was tanking just the whole
They were
season.
tanking
Yeah.
the coach stuff. They didn't respect Hoiberg. Boylan, I mean, he wasn't that much better, but he kind of at least got them playing harder. The Porter trade helped. I like Porter's potential. He just got us to be healthy. Carter was out half the year. I think he was a good
Right.
rookie. Markkinen needs to play more healthy, but he's a good player. Like he definitely shows the potential. But I feel like Zach LaVine showed out. Like I'm like
He's
his
dope.
defense ain't good, but they have enough defenders now to work with him. But I feel like Zach wasn't just a guy who showed you I'm just dunks. Like he has the next level. Like I could carry a team on my back if I have the right pieces around me.
Right.
Y'all give me, you just give me the bench guys who just don't care about scoring. Give me the big. They got the bigs who can switch, who can play defense. Porter plays good perimeter defense. If they get Ja Morant, he doesn't play good defense either. But
They used to be dope, man. If
Chicago-
that draft goes like that, New
if
York
they get Ja,
becomes a
it'd be really
factor,
good. Or
yeah.
whoever they sign in free agency.
Right.
They could maybe sign some guy because they don't have. Well, no, they got Porter, so Porter money, so it's not. They don't really have much flexibility. They should be able to sign like one guy though.
If New York can become a factor and Chicago gets
Yeah.
decent, like
Yeah.
the East to be better than the West all around to me.
I think the league is just getting better.
Finally,
The league is just gonna be.
because them Eastern Conference playoffs.
Yeah, we need
was
more parity.
terrible
I just
last
want
year.
new parity. I want
Terrible.
Golden State will still be good if KD leaves. They'll be good.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I just want KD to go somewhere else so they can just prove. I admire him as a player, but I
Right.
just cannot jump on this bandwagon that
Nah.
he's the best player in the NBA when you had to go join Steph's team. You can't tell me
You
he's better
joined
than
two
Steph.
2.5 Hall of Famers.
Right. You can't tell me he's better than Steph when you have to join Steph's team. Like
Yeah.
I just
You
cannot.
got to do it where you're the man.
I had this biggest debate about that. The other
Even though
day.
you
I'm just like, I
can't, even though I don't know if they win these finals without KD, these last two, because it's weird how they can play really well in the regular season. They can carry the storm weather without KD, but when they come to the playoffs, and the game changes, there's ways that they've been tested where it was like if they didn't have KD, I don't know if that's getting done. Because I am a guy who
I'm not
likes
gonna disagree with that.
people do say, well, your team is your team. You got to go with who you had, but injuries and luck play a very big factor. And when we go trace that history back, that first finals, LeBron played without Kyrie, without Kev, pushed them to 7. Pushed them to 6. The next year, everybody had their mans. Bogut gets hurt. Draymond gets suspended. They still had enough to beat Cleveland, but they didn't get it done.
And Curry was not 100%
Not
that series.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So Cleveland took it that year. Then the next year, was it just KD comes, and they just had more talent, and that was the easy one.
You had KD.
You had a Hall of Famer, a superstar, goddamn near top 10 all time player.
Not the MVP. Like,
MVP, right? So
yeah,
that
you
changed
add him
the
to the
balance.
Cavs. Of course, they have the
So
advantage. So yeah,
I feel like this year we'll get a really balanced finals, and I feel like in the years to come, with how free agency might go, it could really just balance out the league. I just want more competitive balance, man.
Me too, man.
I don't want to. And they say everybody loves a dynasty, and it does kind of seem how we do transition from dynasty to dynasty. You know,
I want to see the best play the best, so I can see who is the best. That's
Yeah.
all I want in the NBA.
Yeah.
Stop all of this.
Yeah.
Super team.
I agree. I agree. Mark, thanks so much for coming through, man. Let's
for having me, man. I
let's
really
give you some
appreciate
plug. What you got coming up? What you want to tell people to purchase, follow? Go
Follow
ahead.
me on Instagram. Comedian Marc Henderson, MARC Henderson. My name is spelled with the C. Comedian Marc Henderson. Marc Henderson Clean Comedy and TV on YouTube. I do sketches, so please follow those and check me out on the road. I'm trying to go to any city any city that books me. I'm trying to be.
What can they find
everywhere.
if they want to book you? How can they get at you?
My website, IamMarcHenderson.com.
Okay. All right, man. This has been For the Culture Live. Still holding the fort down without Tony, man. Tony doing his thing in Miami. Salute, bro.
Shout out to you, Tony.
Man, yes. If y'all want to follow me at Nick of Comedy, please also follow at For the Culture Live at CPU Podcast. Subscribe, download, rate us. Tonight, well, nobody's gonna come to this tonight because the show don't be out till Monday. So next Sunday we got Cornbread Kitchen. We back at UCB for the Black Twitter Show. All the best sketch and improv comedy one can love, and we got some stand-ups. We got Willie Mack and Preacher Lawson from America's Got Talent.
Nice.
So it's gonna be a really good show. Come through, man. We're gonna support, and we also gonna have the after party at Bronson Bar. We're gonna RIP and play tribute and homage to Nipsey Hussle. It's gonna be Nipsey music all night. So if you want to get that vibe, the LA vibe, so just come to the show, man. We put a really awesome show together. That's what I do outside of the stand-up. So I'm really balancing my world out with sketch and improv, and it's been fun. So shout outs to Cornbread Kitchen. I'm your host, Nick Alexander, man. Thanks, Paul, for coming through, talking shit with us, too. We're going to watch this Nets Philly fourth quarter and be good. Peace out.
All right, peace.